guys, what is up? This is Matt. Today is me once again. Welcome back to another video game review. My first game review of the year. And it is for Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. Now in this game you play as Sargon as you go on throughout your quest to try and save Persia in a 2D Metroidvania-like setting. And throughout the game you're going to be doing what you would normally do in a Metroidvania style game. Explore, get new power-ups in order to continue on through various areas you couldn't get through before. Yeah, if you played games like Hollow Knight or Ori or Metroid or Castlevania, then you'll pretty much know exactly what to expect. Now, the Prince of Persia series has been kind of on hiatus a little bit. There was supposed to be a remake of Sands of Time, but I think that might have gotten scrapped. I always see that in the pre-order section on Amazon for video games, but I don't think that's ever going to see the light of day. But, you know, that's okay. I played the original Prince of Persia, Sands of Time, for PS2, managed to beat that game. It's a fantastic game, and it's the only Prince of Persia game I ever played, because when people think Prince of Persia, the first game they immediately think of is Sands of Time. And that's the only Prince of Persia game I played. I heard there were supposed to be other 3D installments that were pretty good. There was also the really difficult 2D games that came out for the SNES. So yeah, and to see Prince of Persia to come back another time, I did not really know a whole lot going into this game. I didn't even know what kind of game it was. I assumed it would be like another 3D platformer, but it's a Metroidvania style game, and I love me a good Metroidvania game, and that's exactly what I got here. If you're a massive fan of the Prince of Persia series, chances are you're really gonna dig this game. But of course, if you're not really used to the whole Metroidvania style gameplay, I'm not entirely sure what you're gonna think. Though there are various difficulty options, there are options so the game can hold your hand more often to where exactly you need to go, and there's an option for you to just skip difficult platforming sections in order for you to get one area to another in order to progress the story. Sometimes I did that because I'm kind of a wimp when it comes to these types of games, but you can always change the difficulty option if you just want to progress the story, though I will say there is a lot to this game. Every time you beat a boss, of course, you would expect to get more power-ups in order to progress, and you're going to need a lot of those power-ups in order to get certain collectibles, because Metroidvania-style games are always the best types of games to try and 100%. By the end of my playthrough, I managed to finish like 66% of the game, so yeah, I pretty much finished more than half of the game, but of course, it's definitely going to be very difficult to try 100%ing the game, as there are also side quests of the game that you can do as well. There are 9 in total, all very unique and of course have some challenge behind them, but they can be very creative. The level design too and the world of Persia is absolutely phenomenal. It's a gorgeous looking game with a gorgeous setting, and it just looks absolutely outstanding, and I really enjoyed exploring throughout this massive map, and it was way bigger than I thought it would be. Like, I knew it was going to have a big map, but damn, this was a huge map that you can explore. Also, as you go on throughout your journey, you are also going to be interacting with other characters, all very interesting, all having unique personalities behind them, and some you interact with during side quests. They're very unique, and I really like what Ubisoft did with some of these characters. I wouldn't say they're characters that I would necessarily remember forever, but it's really nice seeing other characters in the game to interact with. It just brings more to the story. And the story is pretty solid for the most part. You're just basically trying to save Persia, and there are other characters with other backstories, and of course, you know, there's got to be a story behind the whole thing. So in terms of combat, it's your typical hack and slash. I would have liked it if you would have gotten more weapons, but I feel like in terms of the power-ups you get, they're also good for combat. You do get a bow and arrow, and you can boost up your power once in a while. As throughout your journey, you're going to get amulets, kind of similar to Hollow Knight a little bit, though I didn't really see myself using the amulets quite as often because I didn't really feel like they were that useful in my opinion. Also, one thing that I really have to say about this game is that it had a couple of puzzles that really got on my nerves. Like, there's this one puzzle where you have to like clone yourself, and you have to put them in the right area, and there's a time limit too, and there was one that just had barely enough time for me to get through, so I got stuck on that on a couple of times, and that was something that you had to do in the game, but you know, I was able to get past it. So yeah, I never really died a whole lot throughout the game other than during the final boss a couple times, but Yeah, it's going to be far more challenging if you take it on in other difficulty settings. I mean, you can pretty much just beat the game by just pressing one button. I mean, your only weapon is the double swords, which is nice and all, but I wish there were more weapons you could get throughout your journey because it did make the gameplay feel a little too repetitive. But really, though, there's a lot more than just combat you're going to be doing. There's also platforming. Some of the platforming kind of reminds me a little bit of Celeste, though maybe not that difficult. It did provide a lot of like challenging platforming sections throughout my experience. It kind of puts in a blend of 3D Prince of Persia and 2D Prince of Persia because 2D Prince of Persia has a lot of difficulty when it comes to its platforming. But in the end, guys, Prince of Persia is a great game to start off the new year. Of course, there are other new games that are coming out too that a lot of people have been playing and really enjoying as well. Prince of Persia is the one game that I played and had a really fun time with. It's not on the same lines as something like Hollow Knight or the Ori games, but I feel like in terms of a new Metroidvania style game, this is definitely a great one to add to your collection if you're a fan of these types of games. For a $50 game, there's quite a bit of content, and I do feel like it's definitely worth that price. And of course, later down the line, it will go on sale, so it will be worth it even more. I highly recommend playing it for fans of the series. This is coming from a person who's only played one of the games, but for someone who absolutely loved Sands of Time, I'm willing to give more of these games a chance, and I really enjoyed this one. And all I gotta say is, it's a great comeback. And that's all that you really need to know. If you love Metroidvania games, if you love the Prince of Persia series, this is definitely one I highly recommend. I definitely expect there to be a lot of other games coming out this year that will be better than this, but hey, like I said, it's a great way to start off the new year, and I had a lot of fun with it. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Word out.